In the style of Cesar Lozano and inspired by Muniba Mazari, there is a silent battle happening inside many people right now. A battle nobody sees. People smile in public, laugh in photographs, post motivational quotes online. But deep inside, they feel abandoned by the one person who should never leave them, themselves. Yes, many people have learned to love others, help others, support others, forgive others, but they never learned how to become their own friend. And that is dangerous. Because when life becomes difficult, and believe me, life always becomes difficult at some point, if you are not emotionally connected with yourself, every storm feels heavier, every criticism hurts more, every rejection destroys your confidence, every mistake feels like proof that you are not enough. But listen carefully. Your life changes the moment you stop becoming your own enemy. Some people wake up every morning already attacking themselves. I am not good enough. I always fail. Nobody understands me. Why can't I be like others? Imagine hearing those words every single day from someone close to you. It would hurt, right? Then why do you allow your own mind to speak to you that way? Education is not only about mathematics, science, or language. Emotional education matters too. Schools teach people how to read books, but life must teach people how to read their own emotions. And one of the greatest emotional skills a human being can develop is self-compassion. Not excuses, not laziness, not selfishness, self-compassion. The ability to say, I made a mistake, but I am still worthy. I failed today, but I can improve tomorrow. I am hurt, but I refuse to hate myself because of pain. That is emotional maturity. Many people are exhausted not because life is too hard, but because they are carrying the heavy pressure of self-hatred. They are constantly fighting themselves. They compare their journey to everyone else. They punish themselves for growing slowly. They expect perfection while forgetting they are human beings. And here is something powerful you must understand. Growth is not born from insults. Growth is born from understanding. A good friend does not destroy you when you fall. A good friend helps you stand again. So why not become that person for yourself? There will be nights when nobody calls you, days when people misunderstand you, moments when life feels unfair. During those moments, your inner voice becomes your survival system. If your inner voice is cruel, life becomes unbearable. But if your inner voice says, stay strong, we will get through this, everything changes. That is why learning to enjoy your own company is so important. Some people are terrified of being alone because silence forces them to meet themselves. They keep running toward noise, crowds, distractions, and validation because they are uncomfortable with their own thoughts. But the strongest people are not those surrounded by attention. The strongest people are those who can sit alone and still feel complete. Being alone is not the same as being abandoned. Sometimes solitude becomes the classroom where you finally discover your worth. When you spend time with yourself, you begin to understand your fears, your dreams, your wounds, your habits. You stop performing for the world and start listening to your real needs. That is where healing begins. And healing is not instant. Please remember this. You do not heal in one motivational speech. You do not heal in 1 week. Emotional recovery is a process. Some days you will feel powerful. Some days you will feel broken again. That does not mean you are failing. It means you are human. Even the strongest souls have difficult mornings. Even confident people experience doubt. Even brave people cry. But emotionally intelligent people understand something important. Feelings are temporary. Identity is permanent. You may feel weak today, but you are not weak as a person. You may feel lost today, but your future is not lost. You may feel unloved today, but your value has not disappeared. Never build your identity around temporary emotions. And please stop waiting for everyone else to validate your existence. Applause is beautiful, but peace is more important. If your happiness depends entirely on external approval, you will spend your entire life emotionally hungry. Learn to clap for yourself. Learn to celebrate small victories. Woke up despite sadness? Victory. Tried again after failure? Victory. Stayed kind after disappointment? Victory. Refused to give up? Massive victory. Confidence is not built in one dramatic moment. Confidence is built every time you keep a promise to yourself. Every time you choose discipline over excuses. Every time you continue despite fear. That is how self-trust grows. And once you trust yourself, life changes. Because people who trust themselves recover faster from pain. They stop begging for acceptance. They stop shrinking themselves to fit into places that do not respect them. They understand that their worth is not negotiable. My dear friends, the world is already full of critics. Do not become another critic against yourself. Become your safe place. Become your encouragement. Become your peace. Talk to yourself with kindness. Protect your mental health. Forgive yourself for old versions of you that did not know better. You are not the same person you were years ago. You are learning. You are evolving. You are growing through pain most people never even see. And that deserves respect. One day, you will look back and realize the greatest relationship you ever built was not romantic, not professional, not social. It was the relationship you built with yourself. Because when the world became confusing, you stayed. When life became painful, you stayed. When others walked away, you stayed. And that is the power of learning to be your own friend. Listen carefully. The way you treat yourself becomes the blueprint for every relationship in your life. Yes. The conversations you have inside your own mind silently shape the way you allow others to treat you. If you constantly disrespect yourself, doubt yourself, ignore your emotions, and abandon your own needs, do you know what happens? You slowly begin accepting the same behavior from the world. People can feel your self-worth before you even speak. That is why someone who secretly feels unworthy keeps begging for attention, keeps chasing validation, keeps tolerating disrespect just to avoid being alone. And that is exhausting. You cannot build healthy love while carrying deep hatred toward yourself. Impossible. If your inner voice keeps saying, "I am not enough," then even genuine love from others will feel suspicious. Someone compliments you and you reject it. Someone supports you and you think they are pretending. Why? Because broken self-relationships create broken emotional filters. But the moment you begin respecting yourself, everything changes. Oh yes, everything changes. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop chasing people who only remember you when they need something. You begin protecting your peace like it matters, because finally you realize you matter. A person who becomes their own friend develops emotional strength. They learn to comfort themselves during pain instead of collapsing completely. They encourage themselves after failure instead of insulting themselves. They become patient with their growth. And suddenly, relationships stop becoming emotional prisons because they are no longer searching for someone else to complete what they refuse to build inside themselves. The words you say to yourself every single day are not harmless thoughts, they are commands. They shape your confidence, your decisions, your courage, your emotional energy. Think about this carefully. If someone followed you all day repeating, "You are useless, you always fail, you are too weak," nobody cares about you. Eventually your spirit would become tired. Then why do you allow your own mind to speak to you that way? Why do you become the cruelest voice in your own life? So many people destroy themselves quietly with negative self-talk. They wake up already disappointed in who they are. They look in the mirror and criticize everything. They make one mistake and suddenly call themselves failures. One rejection and they question their entire worth. No, listen to me. A mistake is an event, not an identity. Failure is an experience, not a permanent description of who you are. The way you speak to yourself matters because your brain listens, your heart listens, your future listens. If you constantly repeat weakness, fear, and insecurity, your energy begins collapsing from the inside. But when you begin speaking with respect, patience, and encouragement, something powerful awakens inside you. Imagine starting your day saying, I am growing, I can improve, I deserve peace, I survived difficult moments before, and I will survive again. Those words are not magic tricks. They are emotional nutrition. They strengthen the human spirit. And please understand this clearly. Confidence is not built only by achievements. Confidence is also built by learning how to stop insulting yourself during hard times. Strong people are not people who never fall. Strong people are people who fall and still speak to themselves with hope instead of hatred. So many people are afraid of being alone, not because solitude is dangerous, but because they have never learned how to enjoy their own presence. The moment silence enters the room, anxiety appears. They immediately grab the phone, open social media, search for noise, search for distraction, search for someone to make them feel important. Why? Because being alone forces a person to face themselves honestly. And many people spend years running away from that meeting. But listen carefully. Loneliness can either destroy you or educate you. It all depends on your relationship with yourself. If you believe your value only exists when others are around, then every empty room will feel painful. Every delayed message will feel like rejection. Every moment alone will feel like proof that nobody cares. But when you learn to enjoy your own company, solitude becomes power. Oh yes, real power. You start discovering who you are without the pressure of impressing people. You begin hearing your real thoughts instead of the opinions of the crowd. You learn what truly makes you happy. You stop performing. You stop pretending. You stop exhausting yourself trying to earn acceptance from everyone around you. And do you know something beautiful? The people who are comfortable alone usually create healthier relationships. Why? Because they are not desperate. They do not beg for attention. They do not tolerate disrespect just to avoid loneliness. They choose connection from peace, not from emotional hunger. There is a massive difference between isolation and meaningful solitude. Isolation says, nobody wants me. Solitude says, I am learning myself. One destroys confidence. The other builds wisdom. And the moment you become emotionally comfortable with yourself, the world loses the power to make you feel incomplete every time someone walks away. Some people spend years fighting their past so aggressively that they never give themselves the chance to heal from it. They replay old mistakes every night. They relive painful memories again and again. They punish themselves for things they did not know, for moments when they were emotionally tired, confused, broken, immature, or simply human. Listen carefully. You cannot heal while constantly attacking your own history. Your past is not your enemy. Your past is a teacher. Yes, painful experiences leave scars. Betrayal hurts. Failure hurts. Rejection hurts. Being abandoned hurts. But hiding those wounds does not heal them. Pretending you are fine when your heart is exhausted only delays recovery. Healing begins the moment you stop running from your pain and start understanding what it was trying to teach you. Ask yourself, what did that heartbreak reveal about your self-worth? What did that failure teach you about resilience? What did those lonely nights teach you about emotional strength? Pain always carries lessons, but angry people only see suffering while wise people search for growth. And please understand this deeply. Healing is not forgetting. Healing is remembering without collapsing. It is being able to speak about painful moments without those moments controlling your identity anymore. That is real emotional strength. Some people are still emotionally imprisoned by things that happened years ago. Why? Because they never forgave themselves. They moved forward physically, but emotionally they stayed trapped in guilt, shame, regret, and self-blame. No, you must stop turning old pain into a permanent home. You are allowed to outgrow old versions of yourself. You are allowed to become wiser than your mistakes. The person you were during your darkest season is not the final version of who you are becoming. Sometimes survival mode makes people act emotionally, desperately, imperfectly. That does not make you worthless. It makes you human. And the moment you begin understanding your pain instead of hating yourself for it, your heart slowly begins breathing again. Confidence is not something that suddenly appears one morning like magic. No. Real confidence is built quietly, patiently, through the small promises you keep to yourself every single day.
People think confidence comes from applause, money, beauty, followers, or success. But do you know what true confidence really is? It is the deep inner feeling that says, I can trust myself. And trust is not built through words alone, it is built through action. Every time you tell yourself, I will wake up early, and you do it, confidence grows. Every time you say, I will keep going, even though life feels difficult, and you continue, confidence grows. Every time you choose discipline over excuses, healing over self-destruction, courage over fear, your spirit becomes stronger. But many people destroy their own confidence without realizing it. They constantly break promises to themselves. They say they will change but never begin. They say they will protect their peace but keep returning to toxic situations. They say they deserve better but continue accepting less. And slowly their mind stops believing them. Listen carefully. When you repeatedly disappoint yourself, self-doubt becomes louder. That is why small victories matter so much. Massive transformation does not happen overnight. A strong life is built through consistent behavior. Reading one page, taking one step, saying no once, choosing yourself once, getting back up one more time when life knocks you down. And please remember this, confidence is not arrogance. Arrogance screams for attention. Confidence moves with calm strength. Confident people do not need to prove their worth every minute because they already build evidence inside themselves through consistency, resilience, and self-respect. So stop waiting to feel ready before taking action. Action creates confidence. Keeping promises to yourself creates identity. And the moment your mind realizes this person does not abandon me anymore, your entire energy begins changing from the inside. Life will not always be gentle with you. There will be moments when people disappoint you. Plans collapse, doors close, and everything feels heavier than your heart can carry. And during those difficult seasons, the greatest strength you can possess is not money, popularity, or perfection. It is emotional strength, the ability to stay standing internally, even when life becomes chaotic externally. But emotional strength does not appear out of nowhere. It is built through the relationship you develop with yourself. When you become your own friend, you stop abandoning yourself during hard times. You stop speaking to yourself like an enemy every time life hurts you. Instead of saying, I am useless, you say, I am struggling, but I will survive this. That changes everything. Some people collapse emotionally because the moment pain arrives, they attack themselves even more. They already have pressure from the outside world, and then inside their own mind there is criticism, shame, fear, guilt, negativity. Imagine carrying a storm outside and another storm inside at the same time. Of course, it becomes unbearable. But emotionally strong people learn how to support themselves through darkness. They cry without feeling weak. They rest without feeling guilty. They ask for help without feeling ashamed. They understand that strength is not pretending to be invincible. Real strength is remaining kind to yourself while rebuilding your life piece by piece. And listen carefully. The world respects people who know how to stand emotionally on their own feet. Not because they never suffer, but because they refuse to let suffering destroy their identity. They bend without breaking. They hurt without giving up. They lose without losing themselves. When you become your own friend, difficult moments stop feeling like the end of your story. They become chapters of growth. Because deep inside, even during pain, you know one powerful truth. No matter how hard life becomes, you will not abandon yourself anymore.